Welcome back to our YouTube channel. So today's topic is conduction through liquids and gases, electrolysis. So we know that electricity can be conducted through solids like metals and semiconductors. But what about liquids and gases? It turns out that some liquids are in fact good conductors. Liquids like solution of salt, acids, and bases. So solutions like this, that is the mixture of certain acids, bases, and salts in water, can conduct electricity. So the process of electrolysis is the chemical change in liquids when current flows through them. So electrolysis is the chemical change in a liquid when current flows through it. Next, I would like to talk about the conduction mainly and how that process occurs. Like I said earlier, solutions like salts, acids, and bases allow the flow of electricity. But solutions like, or pure water in itself, pure water does not, or is a poor conductor. So it is not an electrolyte. An electrolyte is any substance that when dissolved in water allows the free flow of electricity. So salts, acids, and bases are electrolytes, but compounds or substances like kerosene, paraffin, pure water, they are not electrolytes. Organic compounds in themselves are not electrolytes. All form of organic compounds are not electrolytes. So water is a bad conductor of electricity. But how does this conduction happen? That is the question to ask. The conduction happens by something called the ionic theory. But before I discuss about the ionic theory, I would like to talk about the voltameter. So what is the voltameter? The voltameter is an instrument used to study the flow of electricity through fluids. So the flow of electricity through liquids is studied using a voltameter. Okay, drawing a voltameter here, a voltameter simply consists of a cathode, an anode here, let me label them. A cathode is negatively charged, so it can attract positive ions to itself. An anode is, so cathode is negatively charged, an anode is positively charged, so it can attract negative charges to itself. And in that voltameter, we have the electrolytes in that voltameter. Electrolytes. So the electrolyte is within the voltameter. So now let us discuss about how a liquid can conduct electricity. The way a liquid conducts electricity, it uses something called electrolytic dissociation from the ionic theory. Now the ionic theory states that an electrolyte consists of something we call ions. And those ions are separated into two. These ions are charged particles. Now, them being charged particles means that they can now allow or permit the free flow of electricity. So we have two types of ions. So ions are divided into cation, which are positively charged, and we have anions, which are negatively charged. Now, due to this separation of cations and anions forming ions is what allows the free flow of current and what permits liquid to conduct electricity. So this theory is known as the ionic theory. And the separation of an electrolyte into cation and anion to permit the free flow of electricity is what we call electrolytic dissociation. So the next thing I want to talk about is electroplating. Now, electroplating is just simply the coating of a metallic surface with another metallic surface to simply improve the appearance of that metallic surface or to prevent corrosion. That is what electroplating is. Next, I want to talk about Faraday's law. What is Faraday's law? Now, Faraday's law of electrolysis, because we also have Faraday's law for electromagnetic induction. So to be more specific, Faraday's law of electrolysis, it has two laws basically. The first law says that the mass being disposed, that is Faraday's first law, says that the mass of the electrolyte being disposed is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passing through that electrolyte. So Faraday's first law is trying to say that the mass of being liberated of that electrolyte is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passing through that electrolyte. Now, if you can recall from our studies on quantity of electricity, electric power, electric energy, we know that the quantity of electricity is the product of the current and the time. Now, M, since this is a variation relationship, M can be written as ZIT. Now, Q is IT, but what does Z come from? Now, Z is a constant of proportionality known as the electrochemical equivalence, ECE. So Z is a constant of proportionality known as the electrochemical equivalence. So this is Faraday's first law. But for Faraday's second law, the second law says that if we have two different masses of electrolyte, but we have the same quantity, or we have the same quantity of electricity passing through those two masses of electrolyte, their masses is directly proportional to something called, or the quantity of electricity flowing through them is directly proportional to their equivalent masses. So that is for Faraday's second law. For when you have two different masses but the same quantity of electricity flowing through that mass, it says that the quantity of electricity flowing through that mass is directly proportional to their equivalent weights or their equivalent masses. So that is for Faraday's second law. So in the next video, I'll be solving some problems on Faraday's law and conduction through liquids. Thank you. Welcome back to another video on conduction of electricity through liquids and gases. So here I have a question that says a charge of 1 coulomb liberated 0.0033 grams of copper in an electrolytic process. How long will it take a current of 2 amperes to liberate 1.98 grams of copper in such a process? Now, if you can recall from Faraday's first law, the mass liberated is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity flowing through the electrolyte. And we have a charge of 1 coulomb liberated by this mass of copper in an electrolytic process. So the Z here, which is the electrochemical equivalence, is equal to 0.0033 because it's a charge of 1 coulomb. So it is for 0.0033 grams. So this is our Z. So what is the current there? The current is giving us 2 amperes. To liberate a mass, so our mass is 1.98. So we want to look for what? We want to look for the time, because they ask for how long would it take. So making T the subject of formula, I have M over Zi by dividing both sides by Zi. So Zi cancels out Zi. I have the time T to be equal to, let me write it a bit at the top here. So the mass is giving us 1.98. Z is 0.0033 and the current is 2. So we have 1.98 divided by 0.0032 times, 33 times 2. So that gives us 300 seconds. So that's how you solve for a question like this. Moving on to the next question, it says, what is the mass of hydrogen liberated in an acidulated water voltameter of a current of 6 amperes flows through the voltameter in 1 hour? So we want to know the mass of hydrogen liberated. First of all, we know that Q is equal to IT, which is, this is the current and this is the time. So the quantity of electricity is 6, which is the current, and the time is what? The time is 1 hour. That 1 hour is 60 multiplied by 60 to convert it to seconds. So the quantity of electricity flowing through it is 6 times 60 times 60 for silver. Okay, so that is 21600 coulombs. Yes. So this is for silver. And if you can recall from Faraday's law of first law, it says that M is directly proportional to Q. So what is the mass of silver here in the question? Moving on to the next question, I have a question here that says, what is the mass of hydrogen liberated in an acidulated water voltameter if a current of 6 ampere flows through the voltameter in 1 hour? Now, the quantity of electricity is given as IT, right? So current is what? 6 ampere multiplied by 1 hour. 1 hour converting to second is 60 times 60 to convert to seconds. So punching that into my calculator, I have 6 times 60 times 60. That gives me 21600 coulombs. So this is the quantity of charge flowing through the hydrogen and also the silver electrolytes. Now, if you can look at what we have here in the brackets from the question, the electrochemical equivalence of silver is given as this. That means 1 coulomb of electricity for silver, that's for Ag, is equal to 0.001118. So, and 21600 coulomb of silver will then be equal to what is the electrochemical equivalence. The unit is coulomb, grams per coulomb. So it will be equal to X gram per coulomb. So how do we find X by comparison? So by this proportional method, we can just simply cross multiply by proportion and say X then would be equal to 21600 times 0.001118. So 21600 multiplied by 0.001118. That gives me 24.1 approximately. So 24.1 gram per coulomb. So this is my ECE for silver. And if you can remember, from Faraday's second law of electrolysis, it says that the mass now of silver, that's of Ag, over the mass of hydrogen, H2, is equal to equivalent weight, which is the equivalent weight here, equivalent weight of Ag over here the equivalent weight of H2. So this is gotten from Faraday's second law of electrolysis. So what is my mass of silver? The mass of silver was the mass of silver given in the question? The mass of silver here is, what is the mass of hydrogen located? Blah, blah, blah. Equivalent weight of silver is this. The ECE of silver was used. Okay, so the mass of silver here is going to be what we just calculated here, is the ECE of silver. We have the ECE of this. So I'm looking for the mass now of silver. Bear with me. Let me look through the question. 21600 is the charge of silver. The mass of silver, was it given in the question? The equivalent weight of silver. Yes. So there would be, we would use this as the mass of silver. So the mass of silver is 24.1 over, in this case, the mass of hydrogen, which is what we are looking for, is equal to the equivalent weight now of silver is given here as 108, so over 1. And this is the mass of H2. Let me denote it properly. So let's make this the subject of formula. So we cross multiply. So MH2 is equal to 24.1 divided by 108, which is equal to, punching that in my calculator, 24.1 divided by 108. And that gives me a mass of 0.223 grams. That is for the mass of hydrogen in this question. So this is how you solve a question like this on Faraday's laws. Thank you.